welcome to another fun week on the Basement Show with Mr. Knast. I am Mr. Knast. Joining me tonight is
Ron. How you
and
going, everybody?
we're here for another fun-filled week. Every Monday we do our Sports Gladiator segment, and we actually got some sports to talk about tonight. Actually, believe it or not, I mean football season getting ready to amp up, which me and Ron are both very excited for. We have the Phillies on the All Star break, but they did have a little bit of a setback towards the end of the weekend. Sixers are in summer league action. We have some wrestling talk we can throw in there tonight. I mean, it's going to be a fun-filled show. We hope everyone wants to join us and take part in the conversation. So me and Ron just don't talk to ourselves, but other people would like to listen, and that's fine too.
Yep, that's true. Always welcome the participation of the chat. But in the meantime, I mean, we got some stuff to go over tonight. At least a little bit of stuff. Like John said, we're at the very beginning of kind of the edge of the Eagles with training camp coming up in a couple weeks.
Yep.
And the news will start coming heavier and heavier leading up to that, along with any other activity that's going on around the league.
Very true. So I say we start with the Phillies. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds good. So you can give them their halfway report card.
That is very true. We could do that. I mean, it's incomplete at the moment, but like I had said, they were on such a tear the last couple weeks. Good evening, Barry. Thanks for tuning in. They rattled off 12 games in a row, winning on the road.
Right.
And then Saturday...
23-9 overall.
Yes, 22-9 overall, you're right. But that came crumbling down Friday night. They didn't win. No, was it Friday or Saturday?
Friday.
Okay, Friday.
Because they were coming off the sweep of Tampa Bay.
Yes. And then they had the magical game one win a 3-game set with the Miami Marlins on Thursday.
Right.
With the Christian Pache home run in the 9th inning.
Right. That was actually, no, that was Friday. It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
So they won on Friday, and then they got beat on Saturday and Sunday.
Yes. Well, it started Saturday with Bryce Harper getting hit by a pitcher on the same elbow he just had surgery on. So he left the game. You're holding your breath. You're like, oh, shit.
Luckily, everything came back negative, and he's okay. But they wanted to give him that one extra day of rest going into the All-Star break.
And then on top of Bryce going out with the precautionary for the elbow, you also lost your best reliever again in Jose Alvarado, sorry.
Alvarado, yeah. Well, Alvarado, it's all good. No, yeah, it was. That's never a good thing, especially an elbow for a reliever, especially a reliever that throws with a high velocity. It kind of gives you a little bit of concern because he has been pitching very well as of late, but so's the rest of the bullpen. I mean, Kimbrel got named to the All-Star team
as a
replacement. So he will be in there.
Yeah.
Whether he gets to pitch or not is another story, but at least he got named.
True. So we got now 2 All-Stars.
So you got 2 relievers in Alvarado and Dominguez, who are currently on injured list. But you're getting some pretty decent performance out of guys like Marte and Soto and
Kimbrel.
Bomb.
Yeah, and then there's one named Hoffman. I never heard of him before.
Yeah, they just picked him up not that long ago.
Okay.
Hoffman. And he's pitched well since he's gotten here. So you really can't fault the bullpen for what's been going on. I mean, the lack of power continues to be the biggest issue. and some shaky defense in left field.
That is true.
But they did come up with an interesting combination this past weekend where they had the game that Harper was out. They had Schwarber DHing, and they had Pache stayed in center, and Brandon Marsh went to left field, which could be, rather than going out and shopping for a bat, it could be that combination that may end up being based on the way that Pache and Marsh have been hitting against righties and lefties. There's a chance that you might see that being the combination when Harper moves to first base.
Now, with Harper getting hit by the elbow, obviously, you said they took him out of lineup on Sunday. Now they have a 4-day break for the All Star break starting tonight, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. Then they come back home for a 4-game set versus San Diego.
I'm looking for either sometime during the San Diego series or the beginning of that following week, where you're going to see the first appearance of Bryce at first.
And how does the crowd react to it? You think they're all for it, or?
I think overall they're going to like to see him out there just because of his energy, and the amount of work that he put in order to even be able to be stepping back out onto the field at this point. But then there's another part of the crowd who's concerned that he's only hit 3 or 4 home runs.
True.
Since he came back, so. It does seem like he's driving the ball better and better, but it still could be a while before he really gets all that power back.
That is very true. I mean, only time will tell.
Yeah. And everybody's body's different, so you really can't put a definitive time on his recovery. You just have to kind of let him take it at the rate that he's taking it.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he came back, you figure 6 months after Tommy John surgery.
Yeah,
it's incredible in itself.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Because your normal Tommy John recovery is 10 to 12 months, and if not longer.
Yep. Hey Barry.
It makes you wonder if, like we had said before, if they rushed him back or if he rushed himself back, to just make sure he wasn't letting the team down. But at the same time, you got to think bigger picture.
Yeah, I think sometimes you got to protect Bryce from Bryce, because I think if he had his way, he'd be back out in left field. But they're just not going to let that happen unless he's, 1,000%.
True.
I mean, this may be the intermediate step, especially if we get to next season and they contemplate the possibility of maybe re-signing Hoskins to a contract to bring him back. It really depends on what Derek Hall does.
As a pitcher?
As well, that's the thing. I mean, if the Bryce thing works out, Hall's kind of out of the picture. I mean, they're not gonna keep him there just to sit on the bench. I don't think
that is very true. I mean, because you could be developing them more in the AAA system.
Yeah.
So if you don't sign back Rhys Hoskins, and you don't like to experiment with Harper lasting for a full season, then you have someone ready to go in as a fill-in. I don't know if that's a good way to put it or not.
Well, and remember, they also worked Hoskins out a little bit in left field, too.
That is true.
So, you never know. They could go in that direction.
Yeah. I mean, it's wide open pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to project this far out. I mean, it really is going to depend on how they finish in the second half here.
Yeah. I mean, they're not that far out of a wild card spot, so.
Only half a game.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
We could have some 2022 magic all over again. Who knows?
Hey, you get hot at the right time.
That is true.
And I mean, as far as starters go, I mean, the starters have been eating some innings, which is really has led to the success of the bullpen. Where if the
True.
bullpen's not overworked, they can be more effective.
That is a good way to put it. You're absolutely right. I mean, you need more out of Noah. You definitely need Wheeler to keep having what he's been doing. But the picture in my mind, MVP wise for this team right now, is Tejon Walker.
Yeah, yeah, you'd have to say that he's been a pleasant surprise. I mean, Rangers overperformed, I think, up to this stage. Uh, Now the thing about Nola is a lot of people were down on Nola because he's given up a lot of home runs, including a back to back to back
Yeah,
the other day,
true.
which is never a good sign. But if you look at his performances this year, it's very rarely that he pitches less than 5.5 to 6 innings. So I mean, he's going deep into games.
Yeah,
So he just has these, and I still think part of it is the pitch clock. I really do. I think that he's had more difficulty with that pitch clock than any pitcher on the Phillies.
besides Kimble. Kimble has, I think, has
Yeah,
struggled somewhat
but
too.
Kimbrel worked through it though,
He did. You're right.
for the most part. Nola still doesn't look comfortable up there because he had that whole routine, and it's the same routine he had since LSU, and he's out of sorts.
That
But
makes sense.
once he settles in, he seems to be okay. But all it takes is for him to give up a couple home runs, and he gets distracted. He falls apart.
I mean, you make a good point. I will agree with that on that aspect. So I have brought up. I don't know if you can see this as good as I can. The Phillies pitching stats.
Okay.
So right now you have Walker leading the way with a 10-3 record
Yep.
with a 4.02 ERA, 38 walks, and 85 strikeouts. Nola is right behind him at 8 wins and 6 losses with a 4.39 ERA, 120 strikeouts.
Yep.
And then Wheeler is right behind both of them at 7 and 4, 4.05 ERA, and 119 strikeouts. So
I mean, you got two guys that could have 250 strikeouts by the end of the season,
absolutely, and that's a beautiful thing.
and usually teams that have that are usually pretty successful.
Yeah, I mean, and then Kimball, granted he's a reliever, he has 5 wins of his own and 14 saves on 14 save opportunities, which is
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yep.
He's a ERA above 3, but I mean, you can't really knock when someone's 5-1 and then 14 for 14. That kind of reminds me of Brad Lidge back in 2008.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then who else we got? We got Matt Strom at 5-3 out of the bullpen. Um, Jeff Hoffman, like I said, this pitcher I don't know who it is. He's 2-1. Ranger Suarez just coming back. He's 2-4. And you figure in 11 starts he has almost 60 strikeouts already. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a long way to go. Like I know you were saying something about doing a report card. A lot of these I feel are still incomplete. Like I love Walker. I think that was a great signing. He's been a consistent number 3 behind Nolan and Wheeler, which is great. That's what you want. Um, so yeah, and he only has 96 innings pitched. Also, 85 strikeouts. So you bump him up a couple innings. Like Noah's at 119 innings and Wheeler's at 104. So if you give Walker another 5 or 6 innings, who knows? Maybe he's at the 100 strikeout plateau already.
Yeah.
Very good possibility. I mean, as a whole pitching staff right now, they're sitting at 819 strikeouts at the All Star break. That's pretty good. Probably not the best in the league by any means, but hey, I'll take 819 strikeouts in four plus months of baseball. That's pretty damn good. But I'm sure they're striking out just as many times at the plate. And I'm sure you could probably tell me I'm better than that. Yeah, 811 strikeouts as a whole team
Okay.
at the plate. So that kind of
Yep.
washes that stat out.
Yeah.
But
Hoffman was released from the Twins.
okay.
He triggered opt out when he didn't make the opening day roster and became a free agent. And then on March 31st, he signed a minor league contract with the Phillies,
Oh, nice.
including a $1.3 million base uh, and some incentives and stuff.
Gotcha. I mean, I haven't watched the Phillies game to see him pitch, but he seems pretty decent. I mean, he pitched in Cincinnati, for a couple years, Colorado. You said Minnesota.
Right. And the Reds. He pitched for the Reds too.
Yeah, there's the Reds right here. It looks like 2019 was his best season with Colorado, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong number. Sorry. Um, I mean, it's hit or miss. I mean, numbers
Yeah.
wise.
Yeah, I mean, he's an innings guy. That's all he is. I mean, he wasn't like there were two teams that cut him. I mean, he's not Cy Young, but
True.
he's a guy that's going to give you some innings and he's got some decent stuff. So, he's a good arm to have
Oh yeah. And
rather than having to rely on a guy like Covey.
very true. One other thing I'm looking for is seeing what he is a right-handed pitcher,
Right.
which is good.
Yep.
So, no, I mean, like you said, the bullpen and pitching it hasn't been our problem this year. It's more the inconsistency on offense.
Correct.
And how many times have we said this time and time again?
Yeah, and it's been a common theme. And I mean, if they are going to make a run, the two, based on everybody else staying at the level they're at now, the two guys that really need to step it up, well, three guys really. I mean, you got to have Schwarber batting higher than 180.
Yeah.
You got to have Trey Turner turn it on.
Yeah.
And you got to get JT Realmuto back in the groove. And JT had a big second half last year.
He did.
So there's an opportunity there if he's able to turn it back on like he did last year in the second half. I mean, that can only make us better and better as Bryce gets his power stroke back. Because as of right now, I mean, the guys that are really carrying the team is Bryson Stott and Castellanos.
Yep.
From an offensive standpoint. I mean, they're both hitting 301.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Harper at like 290, and then you got I think Bohm is next at like 280 something.
280 on the nose, very good.
Yeah. So, that's those guys are, and Harper's hitting the ball. He's just not able to drive it out of the park the way he usually did.
True.
So, but he is starting to get a little bit, his stroke's starting to get a little bit better. I mean, Schwarb's got 22 homers.
22,
Yeah.
yep.
And then he dropped out to Castellanos with 13. And then JT and Trey Turner both have 10. So that's not a lot of homers considering how many he hit last year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not. And then you got Baum at 9, Marsh at 7. Marsh has cooled off big time. He started off the season on fire.
Yeah, he did.
And then he's taken a little bit of a backseat recently.
Yep.
You said Bryson Stott is warming up, but he's not more of a power hitter. I'd put Stott in that contact hitter group.
Stott can hit the ball anywhere on the field. I mean, he just sprays the ball, which is kind of what you need out of a second baseman. That's what you kind of expect. You don't expect a lot of power numbers out of a middle infielder. Those guys, you want them to hit for average. You want them to hit in key spots.
Yeah. Now, my question would be, since Schwarber is most of the time your leadoff hitter, the second half of the season, would you look at maybe putting him lower in the lineup and get some of these other guys on base first, and then have someone come up like a Schwarber, who the pitchers have to picture at that point? You figure you can go what? Stott, Sosa, Schwarber, Harper, Castellanos, and then Remuto after Castellanos. So by
Well,
juggling that lineup,
Sosa won't be in the lineup.
okay, well then put Baum
So,
there.
yeah, I think the lineup's going to be interesting because honestly, I don't know if they're going to take Schwarber out of that leadoff spot, even though he's only batting 184 ish.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like when they took him out of that spot, he struggled, and when they put him back in, he started to heat up again. From a power perspective, not from an average perspective. So they did experiment early in the season with Stott up near the top. But once they dropped him down, he really settled in. So, I mean, with the amount of production that's coming from the bottom of the lineup, if these other guys start to heat up, I don't think you want to really try and push them to the top of the lineup.
I'm just trying to think though, because you got someone with Schwarber, 22 homes and only 49 RBIs. If you can put him lower, get people on base, you get runs and you get more RBIs.
But he's not going to get the same pitches though. That's one of the reasons that he hits so many homers out of the leadoff spot, is because he's hitting at the top of the lineup, and he's I don't know how to describe it, but if you look at guys that have been very successful at hitting leadoff with power, guys like a Ricky Henderson, is a prime example. The reason that he did so well with homers is because he was getting fastballs. I mean, a pitcher starts out the game, it's just kind of usually they don't come out and start throwing breaking balls to the first batter.
True.
They're throwing a lot more fastballs. Plus, knowing that you got, a stack of hitters behind them. Yeah, you want to get that first out.
Yeah, I mean, how many times I've seen at least 4 or 5 highlights that he's taking the ball at the first pitch, which is a horrible way for a home team to start the game, but for someone like the Phillies who have that opportunity to do it, it can help them out in the long run too.
But here's what I have to say, and I hate to say it. The analytics say that the likelihood that first ball is going to be a fastball is very, very high.
Yeah.
And that's why they kind of sit on that first pitch waiting for a fastball. And this is the age we're in right now, that we have to, we're looking at computer charts to determine when to swing at a ball, which is sad for the purist of the game,
But it's true.
Hey, Moneyball worked.
In a sense, yeah.
That's really where it started. It really
True.
did with Billy Beane.
Yeah, I mean,
because right now, Bohm's got 57 RBIs. Castellanos has 55, and then I think Schwarber has like 49.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he's got a decent amount of RBIs. He's only 8 off of the team lead. So because these guys at the bottom are getting on base, is giving Schwarber more opportunity to knock in more runs.
That makes sense. I mean, it just seems like a lot of, it's nice to have the home runs. I just feel it'd be nice to have men on base.
Yeah, you never want to have a 180 hitter leading off. That's just, that goes totally against the analytics.
Yeah.
See, what's that? He bats 180? Yeah, he's 7th or 8th or,
Any
but
other team, I'm sure.
I don't think you could bat him down there. It's just not his thing. Never was.
No, he always batted towards the
Even
top
in
of the lineup.
Chicago, he was batting in the top of the lineup.
Yeah. No, as always, Ron, you make a good point, and I'm along for the ride, and I won't go back and forth with you 'cause I'll never win.
No, I mean you're making some great points though. I mean it's you know there's different perspectives to look at it. I mean your arguments make perfect sense. They really do. But just in this particular case, for some reason, he goes against the grain. Yeah, I mean right now as far as the standings go, I mean you look at the Braves are just insane. I
Yeah.
mean they're 60-29. Yeah, 667 winning percentage.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then Miami is 53-39. They're 8.5 back. And then the Phillies are 4 games behind that at 48-41.
Yep.
7 games over 500, which is the exact same record they had last year at the All-Star break.
Really?
Yes.
Ain't that some weird mojo type of shit?
Yep. And then you got 6.5 games back of the Phils or the Mets at 42-48. And then, the Nats, they're another 6 games behind the Mets. They're like 24.5 games back at the All-Star break.
Yep. Hey, but just look at the plus side. We're not the New York Mets who try to buy a championship this year and it's
Yeah.
floating in their face.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I'm looking at this right now on CBS Sports, and I'm looking at the standings, and all the way to the far right, they have projections. Okay.
Yeah.
The Braves are projected to win 105.9 games. So,
Okay.
clear cut, they're winning the NL East.
Yes.
Okay. Here's where it gets interesting, though. Miami, which is currently in second place, is only projected to come back and win 84.4 games. So that puts their projection at 47.5% to get into the postseason. Okay?
Okay.
The Phillies are projected to win 88.3 games and have a 71.9% chance of making the postseason.
Okay.
That it's just interesting to see that we're couple games, 3.5 games behind Miami, but we have a better percentage at making the playoffs than they do.
Yeah.
You don't normally see that.
Well, the other thing you don't normally see is if you look ahead on the Phillies schedule, in the month of August, out of 26 games, I think that 20 of them are at home.
True.
They're home almost the whole month of August.
That is true. Cause I was thinking, hey, I'm on vacation. Maybe I can go to a away Phillies game if they're in DC or something. The entire time they're home.
They're home almost all of August.
Yeah. Evening Prince, thanks for popping in. But it's just fascinating to see that they have like a 4-game more win than the Miami Marlins right now. Maybe they think Miami's going to fall apart. Do they fall apart? They always do. But something's telling me that Miami team's a little bit different this year.
They've got a lot of young talent that's really coming into their own, and their pitching is strong. Yeah, I mean they've a lot of people thought they would have fell back by now, but they've been doing a good job and hanging in there. They dropped off a little bit, but this past weekend they rose to the occasion.
Yeah, they took another 2 out of 3 from Philly. But as always, Philly has a hard time playing in Miami. Don't know why.
Right. And we get them again for a 4-game series in July sometime.
In Miami or in Philly?
In Philly.
Well, that makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, there's a 4-game series in Philly.
I think it's right after the All-Star break, if I'm not
mistaken. I think it is shortly after.
Well, let's see. I'll hold this up real quick so you can try to read it. If not, I'll read it out loud. wrong button. Sure, just haven't said. So after the All Star break, they come home for a 4-game series versus San Diego, which we know about. Friday, 2 on Saturday, and then the Sunday afternoon.
Very rare scheduled day-night doubleheader.
Yep. But they're games that we have to win.
Yes.
You got Sanchez pitching in the first game versus Hugh Darvish. Walker versus Brett Snell, which should be a good pitcher matchup on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Ranger Suarez versus Weathers. And then Zach Wheeler versus Sir S. Logo for the Sunday game.
Yeah.
And then you have 3 versus the Milwaukee Brewers.
Mm-hmm.
Again, very key series. Then you go out to Cleveland for 3. And then you got Baltimore home at Pittsburgh. There you go. We go back to Miami. July 31st through August 3rd.
Really?
Yes. So you have
So
a 3.
2 away series versus Miami?
Yeah, well, only the one. I don't see them after the All Star. That's the first one after the All Star break.
Yeah. Okay.
So you have a 4-game set down there now.
Okay.
And then Kansas City, Washington, Minnesota. And then you play Miami in September in Philly.
Okay.
Which are going to be very important games, I feel.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, August are home most of the month.
Yeah. Well, right now, the Phillies and Milwaukee are both a half a game out of the wild card. So that Brewers series is huge.
Oh, absolutely. All the series are huge at this point, honestly.
But you want to have the tiebreaker against the Brewers. That's what you really need.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're, like you said, a half game out behind San Francisco and our old friend Gabe Kapler.
Yeah.
Go, Gabe.
And his coconut oil.
I mean, they're 22-16 at home, then 26-25 on the road. So August 8th. If August is all at home, there's a good chance we could really make some damage because we seem to be more like a home team.
We could. Definitely.
And then you can't count out the Mets because they're only 7 games out of a wild card, but I'm not too worried about them. And right now, Miami's the top wild card at a 3-game lead. So, and then the Diamondbacks. Who would have thought the Diamondbacks?
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of surprises in baseball this year. I like it.
Well, Baltimore, I think, has got to be considered a surprise the way that they've played.
Oh, yeah. They're leading the American League wild card right now by 5 games.
Yeah.
And they're only, 2 games behind Tampa Bay, who started off the season absolutely on fire.
Yep.
So now they're only 2 games up on Baltimore for that division.
Just because Baltimore's been playing great ball.
I'll give you Baltimore, but I'm going to raise you Cincinnati.
Yeah, you'd have to say Cincinnati would be a shock at this point. Now, one thing I got to say, man, I watched a highlight the other day, or it might have been today, of this guy from Cincinnati, De La Cruz.
Uh-huh.
Okay. He gets on base. He steals second. The next pitch, and the catcher didn't even have time to get off his knees. He threw from his knees because he didn't even have time to stand up. He had such a good jump.
Mm-hmm.
The next pitch, he steals third. And he's in easy. There's no throw. He pumps. He doesn't even throw the ball. So then he throws the ball back to the pitcher. The pitcher turns around to walk back towards the mound. While he's walking back towards the mound, he steals home.
Incredible, ain't it?
I was going nuts when I saw it. I was just like, whoa, wait a second. You just don't see that. And I mean, it wasn't even that close at the plate.
No, not at all. I mean,
he's an amazing talent.
Absolutely.
And he's homegrown for them. So,
Hey, you guys. Amber's in chat.
hey, Amber,
Stopping in to show some love. We appreciate that, Amber. Thank you very much.
thank you.
I told her that's her new trademark. Anytime she stops in chat, she has to do that. Broadcast is
Nice.
what's up. We have hey, you guys.
There you go.
So the Goonies live on every night during the week.
Yes.
Little wrinkle, so I meant to tell you. But then, yeah, I mean, the Phillies' playoff destiny is in their hands. The second half of the season.
Hey,
My
Rodney.
uncle Rodney's on YouTube. Look at that.
Nice.
That's my uncle Rodney.
Oh, okay.
Yellow. They're in from Ohio.
Okay. Cool.
So that's pretty cool that he found out how to figure out the chat. He was like, I don't know that stuff. I was like, go on YouTube, find a page, and if you're on your phone, watch the live show, you can chat with us. Oh, I don't know that stuff. Well, he figured it out.
The Ohio guy pops in right after I compliment the Reds. How about that?
Yeah, there you go. I mean, they're closer to Cleveland, though, so I would think they
Okay.
gravitate more towards the Guardians.
The Guardians. I still can't get used to that.
I don't think anyone can out there.
No.
I
I
mean,
could imagine being a fan and having to get used to it. You know,
yeah, I
not
mean,
to mention with the whole major league thing.
yeah. I mean, pick your poison, I guess. I guess it depends on how you look at it, honestly. I mean, you could.
Serrano would not be a Guardian.
No, Tanaka wouldn't be neither. And you think Vaughn would be? The
No.
only one that would probably fit in that category might be Dorn.
Yeah.
I mean, we
It's out of my reach. What do you want me to do? Dive for it?
Olay. It's hard to get used to the Guardians, but I don't want them not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm sure people still show up to these games wearing Indian shoes.
Oh yeah, absolutely they do. You know it. There's still Albert Bell jerseys at every game, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, Jim Thome,
Yeah.
Vasquez,
Mm-hmm.
and ironically enough, my uncle wanted to tell you when I was a kid, I used to go out to Ohio all the time. Well, they have a minor league baseball stadium about 10 minutes from where they live. Back in the day, it used to be the Canton Indians, and then became the Canton Crocodiles. Okay. I got to see Jim Thome, Albert Bell, Manny Ramirez, all in Double-A ball.
Okay.
You want to talk? What? Go ahead.
So now rank those three from a Cleveland perspective.
Fan base wise?
As far as their popularity.
Jim Thome.
Ramirez, Bell, and Thome.
Jim Thome 1.
Okay.
Manny Ramirez 2 and Albert Bell 3. I would think.
That's fair. I would have probably ranked them the same.
I mean, Jim Thome was absolutely loved out there. You saw how he was loved in Philly, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So, sure was a really good time. I was wondering if you remember that. Yeah, I mean, minor league baseball. I have a ticket stub actually up in my upstairs room of a Canton Crocodiles game. Because if they won, they would give you a general admission ticket that said guaranteed win on it. So you could come back for any game you ever wanted to see.
Nice.
So, I mean, the fun joys of being a kid.
And minor league baseball was just awesome. I mean, even the Camden River Sharks when they were down there on the waterfront. I mean, those were some fun games to go to.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I went to those games, and I've been to like the Reading Phillies, and to Scranton, and I also went down to a few times down to Wilmington at the time to see what was the name of the team?
Blue Rocks.
Blue Rocks. They were minor league for Kansas City.
I think they still are. That stadium's still down there.
Are they really? I thought they were gone.
No, they're still down there, but now I think they're affiliated with the Nationals.
Oh, okay.
But
Well, maybe that's why nobody knows about him.
well, it's actually funny because last year around this time, Morgan's husband Kevin got named to an All Star game for his Sunday league,
Yeah.
and they had the All Star game at that stadium.
Oh, okay.
So I got to go check that out. That was really cool.
Nice.
So, how do you like going to backstreets when the Hall of Fame parade was going on? That's a funny question because he's asking that because a couple years back before COVID, when Brian Dawkins got into the Hall of Fame for Philly,
Yeah.
we went to the parade that morning. It was just me and my uncle, and we didn't stay on the parade route. We went around the corner where the cars like get ready to go on the parade route.
Okay.
So I actually have a picture that I screenshotted of the Philadelphia Eagles live feed because they had Dawkins in the car. He's driving around like recording everything, and the first thing you see is me in my Brian Westbrook jersey.
Nice.
So I mean, it's cool to see it behind. Like you could get good pictures of them before they're even on the parade route. It was kind of fun.
That's awesome.
So that's what he was asking that question about. But
Anybody that's been to championship parades has great stories.
well, that's not a championship parade. That's a Hall of Fame parade.
Yeah, but any sports related parade, let me put it that way,
Okay,
because
that works.
there's been some classic ones in Philly.
Yeah, I was at the 2008 World Series parade, and all I saw was a sea of heads.
Yeah. Yeah.
But speaking of minor league baseball, before we jump over to football talk real quick, we were actually talking tonight also about the Savannah Bananas.
Oh, yeah. I would love to see one of those games. They said it's like a 2-year waiting list for tickets.
It's insane. They have a game up in Trenton, and it sold out in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But just like some of the things they do, me and my aunt were talking about, it's just hysterical.
I watched some of their stuff online, and it cracks me up.
Because I had told her that Shane Victorino, when they were out in Vegas, actually did an at bat for him.
Yeah, hit a home run.
So I mean, it's just comical. I mean, I just wanted to throw that in the baseball talk before we move on. But like, it looks like they look like so much fun. Like the guy I've been following a lot lately is Jake Olson. He's the third baseman for him, and every at bat he starts in the crowd with a different walk up song. So he has his bat in his hand doing karaoke as he's walking to the batter's box.
Yep.
I thought it was hysterical.
And the camera follows him out of the stands.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And the umpire is hilarious too.
Oh yeah. You got a twerking umpire.
Yeah, he's really good. He actually was a high school umpire, and he did some crazy stuff, and he went viral. And then the Savannah Bananas actually sought him out to hire him to be the umpire for them.
Oh, cool.
So,
I mean, he fits right in with the mold.
Yeah, yeah.
So the only thing I have for football thing as of now is the thing I had mentioned to you before the show, and that is the Eagles suffered kind of an injury, I guess you can say, before training camp even started. Mind you, this player probably won't make the team. I don't think he's going to make the practice squad. I think they're that deep this year. He's let go and he's forgotten about. And that's the track star they have him under contract right now, Devin Allen. Yep. He apparently suffered a calf injury during USA TF Championships in Oregon. He pulled up at the finish line and grabbed his calf. So they don't know if it's going to be significant enough that he misses time in preseason training camp. I mean, I don't really see a role for him on our team other than a specialist, like maybe once in a while a punt returner or something like that. But other than that, he's nobody.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think that it was going to be minute at best, the chance of him making the roster. But now this should just, seal the deal.
Mm-hmm. I mean, top to bottom, though, like we'll get more into it in a couple of weeks, but like top to bottom, this lineup is stacked.
Somebody else will probably pick him up and carry him on a practice squad just out of the curiosity, because they know if Howie Roseman drafted him, that he saw something in him. So More than likely, he's going to land on somebody's practice squad.
Was he a draft pick?
Yes, yes, he was. He's like a 6 or 7.
I thought he was undrafted.
No, no, I'm pretty sure he was like a 6 or 7.
No, undrafted in 2017.
Really?
Yep.
For some, I'm thinking of somebody else. Then
No,
didn't they draft a track guy this past year?
no. A couple years ago they did.
A couple years ago, maybe. Yeah, okay, maybe you're right.
Jeremy Bloom.
Yeah.
He went to Colorado and got drafted and didn't do nothing.
So, who would you say is the most famous track and field guy that actually was successful in the NFL?
Oh, I would have to dig that up.
I can tell you right now who I think it was.
Bo Jackson?
No, he wasn't really a track guy, though. I mean,
okay.
how about Ronaldo Nehemiah for the 49ers?
Never heard of him.
Was an Olympic sprinter and was a wide receiver for the 49ers back in the Joe Montana days.
I'd have to do some research. I'd never heard of him.
Yep.
My uncle has a question. I'll let you answer this question from my uncle. What do you think about the new rules with baseball with the pitch clock?
Well, it certainly sped up the game. So from that perspective, I think that I like it, because the whole after every pitch, stepping out, fixing the gloves, tapping the bat and doing all this other stuff between every single pitch it's kind of boring. I mean, it really is. And when you have 4-hour games and 4.5-hour games, it's tough.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that I'm curious about is this is going to get reviewed in a couple years when the next collective bargaining agreement comes up. Okay. Here's the question. Are the owners going to be against it if they find out that hour and a half that they're speeding up the game has translated into less concession sales?
True. So you're hurting the revenue by speeding up the game. Fans aren't sitting in the seats as long as they normally do. So yeah, I could see revenue taking a hit.
So if it takes that much of a hit, then all of a sudden the owners are like, well, maybe we'll not do this. And then it'll screw everybody up again, because all these pitchers that have adjusted to this will have to readjust back to the old way.
Yeah, I can see your point. I mean, it's definitely a hit or miss type of thing.
I'm curious to see where it goes when it comes up again.
Very true. I mean, only time will tell.
Yep. That's what I think about it. I think that I think I'd like it because it's easier to watch a game.
Mm-hmm.
And the reasons I don't like it is two main reasons. But the main reason is that I enjoyed, because we have such great announcers in Philadelphia. We really do. I mean, we've been thoroughly blessed with announcers in every sport. I mean, we've had some of the all-time greats. I mean, Zink, Gene Hart and Bobby Taylor, Richie Ashburn, Harry Kalas. I mean, even the current guys. I mean,
Tom McCarthy,
Fransky and Anderson, McCarthy. I mean, those guys are good. They really are. And you get less of them if you're watching a game, because the game's just moving so fast. They don't get to tell a story like they used to tell a story, because it's a pitch and then a pitch and then a pitch and then a pitch.
True.
So the broadcasts aren't as entertaining. And I think that's the negative that came out of it.
I mean, all valid points. I mean, I definitely would agree with the whole. It's more enjoyable to watch the game because it's not dragging as long as it did.
True.
There'd be times you watch a game and it'll take 45 minutes to get through 1/2 inning.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, nowadays you can get through a happening in 10 minutes. Then
Yeah.
it's right back up and ready to go. So
True.
I mean, it's definitely has its pros and cons. So it's definitely worth MLB looking into because, like you said, if it's hurting the revenue shares, do they gotta scale it back or do you keep it the same? So, but it also makes fans have to be there as soon as the game starts now
Right.
because there's
Because
multiple cities that people won't get to the game to the second or third inning, and now you already missed a quarter of the game. Is it even worth going at this point?
that's good. And that once again goes back to the dollars and cents. And that's what the owners are going to look at when they look at the next collective bargaining agreement.
Which do you know when it is or no?
Not off the top of my head, but I can find out.
I can look real quick if you want. It's up to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Since I got the second. When uh, hold on. It'd be nice if I put when does the current MLB expire? Um, let's see. The new 5-year CBA. So this was agreed in 2022 to 2027. So
Okay, so they got a while.
yeah. We have some announcers here for the Guardians on the radio in advance. Listen to them on the radio, then on TV. So,
Okay.
what he's saying is what a lot of sports cities have a problem with. You have that delay. So
Yeah.
you hear something at one point, but then you see it 2 seconds later.
Yeah, there's in most radio there's a 7 second delay.
Very true. Evening, Val.
That's
Nice to see you.
Hi Val.
A Yankees fan in the house. That's all I know about Val. She's a big Yankees fan. Ugh. Sorry.
Hmm.
I'll be
Well,
good.
they're having a rough time this year too.
That is true. So I mean, did a little bit of Eagles news I had. Phillies talk. Sixers Summer League. I mean, no one really pays attention.
Yeah. Well, the big Sixers news today was they matched the offer sheet for Paul Reed,
Yes.
who had a 3-year offer, 3 years, $23 million from Utah, and they had stated all along that if he did get an offer, that they were going to match it because they are very high on him as Joel's backup. However, it doesn't explain why there's 2 other centers on the roster,
That is true.
one of which they just signed 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they signed Mo Bamba,
Right.
and then they brought back Montrezl Harrell, who I thought was moving on after 1 year.
Right. Yeah. So some of that doesn't make any sense to me.
True. Val saying the
But I
Yankees.
mean, the only other thing they could be is, filling out the roster to put a package together in case they work out a trade to match salaries.
That is a possibility. Now, but my question is, because I don't know if you saw the full analytics of the deal. Oh, I said it right. Analytics.
Yes.
So, Utah offered him the 3-year, $23 million deal. Okay.
Right.
But then there was an incentive in the contract if Utah was to make the conference semifinals that the last 2 years would be fully guaranteed.
No, if the Sixers make the second round.
No, but it was Utah who made him the initial offer.
Right, but they put that in the contract because they knew that the Sixers were going to match it. And it was Danny Ainge sticking it to the Sixers because Danny Ainge is the general manager.
In Utah?
And he wrote that in there to give a jab to the Sixers about not being able to make it out of the second round.
Gotcha. Now, does that clause go into effect now that the Phillies matched it?
Yes, they have to honor the contract that was agreed to.
Wow. Okay.
So if they make the second round, then Paul Reed's money is guaranteed for the second and third seasons.
which is what 7. I think I figured it'd be like 7.5 a year.
Something like that. Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna pay someone like that much money, he has to be more than a 10 minute a game guy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, he's an insurance policy, is what he is. Because Joel, between load management and his injuries that he has a couple times a year, you know, you got to have a capable big man in the center who's actually willing to hit the boards where Joel doesn't.
Very true. Do you think that you could see him more as a power forward as well? Say they package up like a Tobias Harris or James Harden, and they need that other big guy down low. Could we get minutes at your 4 and not a 5?
I don't know if he's ever played a 4, but I mean, anything's possible, especially if they've got 4 centers on the roster.
Yeah.
Or literally, if Joel goes down, they'll need Paul Reed, and they'll need one of these other two to step up. Yeah.
True. I mean, this
So see
says
what
that,
happens.
yeah. I'm just reading an article saying they had matched it. The Sixers waited until 90 minutes prior to the 11:59 deadline Sunday to inform Utah that they matched the sheet. So
Mm-hmm.
they made Utah sweat it out. Because sometimes
Yeah.
you see these players offer their contract, and the team like instantly matches it. Like, okay, no, he's ours.
Well, the one thing you have to understand here is everything that the Sixers do now is going to go down to the last minute because they're still trying to work out something for Harden.
Yeah.
I think they're resigned to the fact that they may have him for the year, but then the question becomes, does Harden turn into, fat suit Harden, disgruntled, get out of shape, not doing the things that he did last year because he doesn't want to be there. Now today they released an interview that Joel did, and Joel was singing, Harden's praises, saying how good of friends they are, and he knows it's a business, but he hopes that he's back because that way they can together go for a championship and all this other stuff. So Joel went into full blown
Bestie
Woody and
mode.
Buzz, you got a friend in me.
You got a friend in me. Now, if we start singing that ourselves, will we get muted, or can we sing it ourselves?
I don't know. I think if we sing it ourselves, nobody could ever mistake it for the real thing.
Okay. Hey, it's an easy way to avoid copyright strikes. Just start singing songs yourself.
Just sing it badly.
Yeah. And then
Yeah, Valerie, that's true, and Judge especially, they're gonna miss big time because I know that he's out right now.
well, that's all right. Mike Trout, 2 days before the All Star game went out too.
Yeah, breaks his hand.
He's out 48 weeks.
Yep, and that don't help their situation. The Angels actually were playing pretty good.
Yeah.
So the one thing that's going to mean though is you're not going to see Ohtani move until the off season, I think,
If at all.
if at all. But I don't think the Angels are going to pay him $600 million, and that's literally what he's going to get.
Yeah, I mean, it's all a waiting game. It's all a crapshoot. We don't know what these GMs think. So
Yeah. Well, I told you where I think he's going.
yep. Now the last thing on the Reed thing, Reed has veto power on any trade and can't be traded to Utah for at least a full year.
Right.
So even if he wanted to go to Utah, it wouldn't happen this year.
Right.
So when I saw that offer, I was like, damn it, they really that desperate? They're trying to figure out a way to get another big man out there, because I know Utah is in rebuild mode.
Right. Well, but the thing is that they really, the Sixers coveted him, and I think Danny Ainge picked up on that, and he knew that if he made an offer that it would get matched. That's why he even put the language in he did.
Fair enough. So,
Because they were very public in acknowledging that they wanted him back.
oh yeah, they had made that known. So, I mean, the fact that he even signed one was kind of interesting to think too.
It could have been a backhanded deal between Utah and Paul Reed. Maybe his agent, is friendly with the team, with Utah, and they, made some kind of deal where they would offer him up to get his price up and make sure he got a good deal in Philly.
Very true. Uncle Adi says, "Do you think today's players are in better shape than what they were 20 years ago?"
Man, that's a tough question.
It depends on the player. I would say it depends on who and what sport.
Well, here's what I'll say about that, and this is my opinion. If you look at the players 20 years ago, the game has changed immensely in 20 years.
True.
The game now is a game of 3-point shooting, honestly. Whoever has the most threes is going to win the game.
Mm.
It's plain, it's just math. I know I said there'd be no math, but the shooters are the key to the game now. Back 20 years ago, these guys were banging the boards and taking a beating night after night after night. They had to be bigger. They had to be stronger. Now they don't have to be.
True.
All they got to do is sit on the perimeter, sit in the corner, and just pop threes. So I think the athletes of 20 years ago were more physical, so therefore they were in better shape because they had to spend, the full game running up and down the floor, and they had to be back on defense because if you weren't crashing the boards, you weren't winning the game.
A very good answer. I don't know how to match that, so I think we're just gonna stick for your words of wisdom as always. I mean, no, I mean, there's no other way to really put that. I mean, like you nailed it. The game has changed so much from back in the day to now. I mean, it's completely different.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it's really the same game anymore.
No, it is. It's just a matter of time before there's a 4-point shot.
Yeah. You know who's gonna?
That's going to be the next evolution, I think.
Yeah, well, you know who would be the king of that one? Steph Curry.
Yeah. Yep.
Shoot
You
from
would
beyond
think.
the half court shot, you can make 4 points. I guarantee he'd probably have about 100 points a game.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's crazy to see how all these sports overall have changed.
Right.
Like the NFL back in the day was a run first power football type of game. Now a quarterback drops back 45, 50 times a game and just throws it.
Yeah.
Baseball is more. I would say out of all the major sports, baseball is probably still the most strategy game out of all of them. Because hockey's definitely gotten faster.
Yeah, and they took a lot of strategy out of baseball when they brought the DH to the National League.
True.
That was the whole argument of American League versus National League is National League you had to be more strategic in who you hit for and how the pitchers, batted and all that other stuff. And then once that came out of the game, then it just became a game of launch angles and velocity, bat velocity.
Now, do you like the universal DH, or would you have kept it the same?
I'm about 50-50. I mean, I like the fact that it gives an opportunity for players that are on the back half of their career to have an opportunity to keep on playing. I mean, from that perspective, a perfect example is that if there's no DH in the National League last year, we're not in the World Series because Harper's not playing.
True.
So, I mean, it's worked out very well for us with Harper's situation, but And there's been other situations on other teams, same thing. But in the same respect, from a purist standpoint, it was always fun to have the pitcher go up there and like you're not expecting the pitcher to get a hit, and he ropes one for a double or something, knocks in runs to win himself a game. I mean, that was exciting, you know.
That's
But when
true.
it was just them standing up there and watching three go by and then walking to the dugout, that was never exciting to me. But when there were pitchers that used to be good hitters like Randy Johnson and Steve Carlton, Rick Wise,
Carlos Zambrano.
there were a lot of pitchers that actually were pretty decent hitters.
Yeah, all good points. My uncle says they all have personal trainers and people to keep them in good shape.
Yeah, the sports science has a lot to do with it now. It really does. Every player's got a nutritionist and they have a personal trainer and they have all this other stuff because, that there's so much science to training anymore. They're athletes in all sports are bigger and stronger than they've ever been.
Yeah, I mean, very true. I'm just seeing if there's any other NFL news real quick. Ain't that something? Jacksonville related. Ready for this one?
Okay.
Jacksonville signs tight end Josh Peterson, son of head coach Doug Peterson.
Yes, I heard that today. Yeah,
Interesting.
that was interesting.
Now the only question is, does Pops keep him on the team or no?
Yeah. He'd probably be tougher on him than anybody else on the team.
Well, you have to be. It's your bread and butter. You
Yeah.
gotta keep your name running in the family, son. Don't mess up.
Yep.
But I won't go too far in NFL talk. I mean, got a couple weeks for that. But I did mention in the post that we also in the next couple weeks going to see if people in the chat are interested in joining a fantasy football league.
Yes.
Ron had come up with the idea of running I don't know if you want to charge people, if it's going to be a free league, all yours.
Well, I mean, we can discuss it if we find enough people that are interested. Hey, even if everybody threw in like $20, if it's 10 teams, then maybe you make it like 125 for first and 75 for second.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something.
I would pay $20 to just have a fun league with the people from the basement show.
Yeah, and we can add it to our sports segment on Monday. Granted, the week's not over on Monday, but you have a general consensus most of the time who's going to win fantasy matchups come Monday.
Be a great chance to trash talk too.
That is true. I mean, we have a lot of other fan bases in this chat. Like my uncle's from Cleveland, so he likes the Browns. I know sometimes we have Just Too Breezy pop in. He's a Patriots fan. Morgan's a Patriots fan. Rev Grimm, he's a Chicago Bears fan. I mean,
we've got Denver fans. We've
Kelsey,
got we got Dallas fan. Sam. Yeah.
So I think if we do a league like that, to make it obvious who each other is, they have to represent their home team in their name somehow.
Okay.
Like, say Michael Rodney joins, like Rodney's Brownies or something.
Yeah.
Or Sam's Cowboys or something. I don't know. Just something.
Yeah.
Something affiliating your team and your city that you represent in your team name. Now, I won't go into it too much, but back in the day, I did a 5-team league. It was just a BS have fun type of league, but we geared all our teams' names around the Penn State scandal.
Oh,
boy. That's all I'm saying. Some of those team names were very bizarre.
Oh my God.
I didn't do it. What did I do?
No, I'm just picturing how that would have went if I was involved in that.
Well, I can give you a couple of the names if you want to hear some of them.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, my team was the McQuarrie Witnesses. McCleary witnesses,
Okay.
and the other bizarre name that I can remember off the top of my head was my friend's team, Jerry's tight ends.
Oh boy.
So that's just two of
Yeah.
five. Like I said, it got very out of control. Wow.
I mean, you could have made up jerseys, but you would have had to make sure they were available in kid sizes.
Mm-hmm. Sandusky. I think the one was like Sandusky soaps.
No, no.
Like I said, they were bizarre.
Yeah.
It was, like I said, it was only like 5 or 6 of us, and
Let's be happy the Rev wasn't involved.
yeah, I mean, oh
Yeah.
boy. But I just got
The Happy Valley campfires.
you know, I
You couldn't get through one show. One show.
I like I said, just if anyone hasn't tuned in, we did a Saturday night shenanigans show. Well, off camera and off the show, I pointed right down. And I was like, you corrupted Ron. Way to go. We do something on Friday night, and every other word of that man's mouth was Colorado campfire. And I was just sitting there laughing. I was like, you're not allowed to hang out with Ron.
Yeah, that could be dangerous. So one of these Saturdays when I do make it out there, buckle up, Buttercup.
Well, I already told people that you do karaoke on Saturday, so we might actually show up where you're at.
Oh, okay.
With Morgan and Shannon, they want to do karaoke too.
That'd be awesome.
So that's part of a Saturday night shenanigans now, apparently. So who knows what happens on Saturday nights.
Yeah.
But I just got a bit of Flyers news real quick. They re-signed Noah Cates, who is a very young player they have on the team last year, to a 2-year, $5.25 million deal.
Wow.
So about $2.7 million a year.
Yeah. A lot of people thought that he was going to go.
And then I got one today saying they re-signed Cam York to a 2-year, 3.75. So they're keeping some of these young players under contract, which is good.
Yep.
You got another one that wants to go to karaoke. My mom says, "What about Mom?"
Awesome.
Mom,
the more the merrier.
Ron's the master of ceremonies when it comes to karaoke, so if you want to do karaoke, he's the one to talk to. The only time I did karaoke, I got thrown out.
Well, I ran a karaoke company for 13 years, and it's at one point we were working 4 nights a week, so it's very much a part of my DNA.
Wait a minute, karaoke, sports, blockbusters. Is there anything you haven't done in your life?
It would be a short list.
I'm just rattling, like thinking in my head, like, okay, you ran a blockbuster, you ran a karaoke machine, Planet House. I mean, all the things that you've done like 10, 13, 15 years, it's half my life. It's like,
I was pulled across the pool by 2 dolphins in Hershey Park. I went skydiving in Miami. I've been bungee jumping in South Carolina. I've done a few things.
Well, it's funny you say skydiving because tomorrow's my 6-year anniversary since I went skydiving.
Yeah.
I wish I could find that video, make you laugh. Actually, I might be able to pull it up. Let me see if I can. Cause I technically own it now since I bought the thing from the place that does skydiving. So
yeah,
I might actually have it. Hold on. New videos. Let's see. I do. I'll fast forward to the funny part.
Okay.
Now pause it. Alright. Make this full screen. Share my screen. Here is me getting ready to go skydiving. If anyone wants to laugh at me, feel free. I was kind of scared shitless, but I have a story of why.
Okay.
There you go. If you look closely, you can see him grab my nose right about now. I don't know why, but he grabbed my nose like that.
Yeah.
It actually it makes my face turn completely green.
Huh.
But this was July 11th, 2017. So
Okay.
like I said, 6 years ago tomorrow.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
My uncle says, let him know about the fantasy league. He got $20. All right, sounds good.
All right.
But I'll fast forward to when I land. But like, it was pretty cool. Like, it actually let me pull the ropes and all that fun stuff. But if you
Yeah.
look at the end of this, oh, one button. Look, you can see like the face of my face. I'm like
Yeah.
green. I don't know if it's that from like the lack of oxygen I was getting up my nose or whatnot, but
Is that a Ninja Turtle shirt?
it is.
Okay.
I had my Michelangelo shirt on, and my buddy Nick, who went with us, who sometimes pop in the chat as well, wore
Mhm.
his Superman shirt with the Superman cape.
Okay.
I mean, I can say I did it once. I'll never do it again.
Yeah, I was pretty much a one and done. Yeah, I did two. I did two tandems, and I just wanted to be able to say that I did it.
Now I still want to go bungee jumping.
Yeah.
I found a place in Tennessee that still does it, and the fact that the bungee jump in Tennessee I read is a 28-story jump
Yep.
down. So
Nice.
one of these times I'm hoping to get out that way and to do that.
That's high. 28.
Well, you actually jump from an old train bridge down into the
Yeah.
Tennessee River.
Okay. Now I never did one over. I did one over water, but it wasn't over a river. It was at the Beach Club on Delaware Avenue in Philly, and it was on a crane. There was a
Mm-hmm.
basket on a crane that was actually 125 feet, but it was actually like 131 or 132 feet because they allowed you to climb on top of the cage and jump from the top of the cage.
Oh wow!
If you were able to do that.
Yeah, and I forget where it is, but I think it's over in Norway. There's a amusement park that you can actually go up to like a platform, and then like you're in a harness or whatever. They lay you on your back like this, but then they cut the cord and you do like a straight free fall, which
Mm-hmm.
is equivalent to like 10 stories
Yeah.
into a net. Looks like a lot of fun. I want to try that too.
Nice.
You only live once,
This is true.
and that's what.
And it's not the fall that gets you, it's the sudden stop at the bottom.
Yeah. I mean, there was no sound on that video, but like the instructor's always asking me, "Oh, blah blah blah." I was like, "Why are you doing this? Because you only live once." I said it probably about a dozen times.
Was that in between the ah?
Pretty much. Because my biggest thing was like keeping my head back like this
Yeah,
until you get out of the plane. So I mean,
right.
still fun. I'm happy I did it, but won't do it again.
Very cool.
And it's just funny that tomorrow is the anniversary of that, and I'm seeing all my Facebook statuses from that day popping up now.
Nice.
But then you had mentioned before the show something about OVW, Ohio Valley West Wing.
Well, yeah, I actually just saw part of a documentary about it, and it was interesting. Some of the kind of like the development of the developmental portion of the WWE, which started with Ohio Valley Wrestling, which was bought out by Jim Cornette, and they ran a promotion because they wanted to train guys where they could be like they were hooked up with a whole setup where they could they had a weekly television deal.
Mm-hmm.
So they were able to be in front of a live audience that was more than like 50 people. And they could, work on their craft, their promos, their, working with a crowd and all that kind of stuff. But at the first real class that came through there, included the likes of Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, John Cena, and Sheldon Benjamin.
Damn. It's
All
a
came
whole.
through at the same time, which was quite a class that ended up being a 3 Hall of Famers right there.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so yeah, it was interesting how they had that, and then they transitioned into when they did Tough Enough, the series they did for MTV, and the people that came out of that that didn't really come out of that as good. It wasn't the same kind of level of training
Mm-hmm.
because it was more reality show and less actual training. But I mean, people that came out of there like The Miz, Maven, uh, like uh, there were quite a few people that came out of Tough Enough.
Nice.
And then they transitioned to the NXT thing that Triple H came up with, where they started out as just a training facility, and then they transitioned into an actual weekly package of programs that they would put out to, and then linked it very, very closely with the main roster.
Gotcha. But there's a picture of Cena.
Yeah,
What a toothpick.
ruthless aggression,
Yeah, the OVW heavyweight champion,
the prototype.
the
Yep,
prototype. Yep.
yep.
Um.
And he was this close to being cut. He was like weeks from being cut. They
Wow.
weren't using him. They had brought him up to the main roster. Um, he really didn't have a strong character.
Mm-hmm.
However, they were on a bus traveling to a show, and Stephanie McMahon was on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
And what some of the guys would do is they would do freestyle rapping, and Cena was extremely good at it, and Stephanie overheard it, and Stephanie pitched him the idea of developing a character based on you know the rapping, yeah,
Dr. Psychomanix.
the doctor of thugonomics, yeah, and that begat uh, that whole gimmick, which led to him being one of the goats of all time.
Yeah. I mean, plus his match versus Kurt Angle on the SmackDown. Who are you? I'm John Cena.
Yeah,
Yep.
and why do you think he should be here? Ruthless aggression.
Here's Randy Orton from OVW.
Yep.
A young Randy Orton.
Yeah, he started very young. He was like 19 or 20 years old.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
But
funny how
his dad was a wrestler. His grandfather was a wrestler.
Bob
So I
Orton.
mean, he had more pedigree than most.
That is true. I mean, what do you think of the sport, motocross racing? Never really got into that. I mean,
Yeah, they really don't devote a lot of TV time to that, or you could seek it out. I mean, I'm sure that one of the ESPN channels have some content on that, but I mean, I couldn't name anybody who's actually involved in the sport, just because it's not one that I've specifically focused on. But I mean, you know, I don't have anything against it. I mean, I think that those guys are extremely talented and kind of crazy for some of the stuff that they do.
yeah.
I mean, so yeah, I mean, it's exciting to watch.
I mean, the first one that pops in my head was I don't know. He doesn't really race that much anymore. Is Brian Deegan? Was a very well known motocross racers I knew from watching like Ricky Carmichael stuff like that, but I never really got into it. I have seen it on TV. Sometimes you watch it late on a Sunday or something, but it's like one of those. Oh, okay, click.
If you want to watch a great scene from a movie that ties into motocross, there's a scene in one of the Charlie's Angels movie, the second one, and it's
Okay.
Shia LaBeouf on a motorcycle, and then Crispin Glover's on one, and I think Cameron Diaz and Drew Barrymore. I mean, it's not them on the track, obviously, but I mean the whole scene is pretty exciting. Some of the stunts were pretty fun.
You said Charlie's Angels?
Yeah, the second one, which was
Full Throttle.
Full Throttle. Yeah, there's a motocross scene towards the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I'm seeing if I can find it on YouTube. Maybe I can play a small video of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to look that up for next week.
Yeah.
I'll look it up for next week. I'll pop it up next week for you.
Yep.
But what else we want? Is there anything else that we need to cover tonight?
I don't think that I had anything else.
Yeah, I know you don't know hockey that well. Like you said, football is starting to amp up. We'll get more into training camps in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
My favorite time of year. I love football season.
Oh yeah, who doesn't? And then we do have a live show on location planned.
Yes.
What was the date again?
December 3rd. No,
November. December 3rd.
December 3rd. Yep.
Where we'll be broadcasting from location before the 40 Winers game.
Yep. Sunday, December 3rd.
Yep.
The Winers want the revenge of coming to Philly again, and they're not going to get it.
Nope.
I mean, they can say all they want. I mean, the fact that we
get ready for one hell of a beatdown.
As long as Philly stays healthy this year, they're going to run the table. Sorry. They do have a couple trap games in there.
Yes, they do. Absolutely, they do.
But everywhere I'm reading still says 12-5 or 13-4. So I mean,
yeah,
everyone's buying.
I think I had him 13-4, and you had him 14-3.
Yeah, something like that.
I think that's what it was.
I have that somewhere. I gotta find it.
Yeah,
we can always read.
Yeah, I think you had him one game better than me.
Yeah, because I think we had pretty much the same losses, except I think you added one.
Right.
And I think the one difference was the Jets game.
Yes, I think so.
Like I said, I have it somewhere in my mess down here that I gotta go through. The studio is getting messy. I gotta call the maid, get her in here to help me clean it.
There you go.
But no, that's all I pretty much got.
Okay. Well, I mean, we had some great interaction in the chat tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Uncle Rodney. I appreciate that. My mom stopping by. Val.
Yeah.
Amber with the pop in for the Goonies. Prince popped in. Diamond over on Twitch. Barry popped in for a hello, which is always nice.
Yep. Amber.
And we had 6 reactions, which is always appreciated too. I mean, even if you don't come in and talk with us, you sit back and listen for a little bit. If you drop a like, that means a lot to us as well. It means it helps out big time. So Martin dropped a double like on his own, and then Ordinary Misfits, which is a new live podcast that airs on late Friday nights talking about life. It's actually really cool. Go give them some support. Prince always pops in. Barry as well, and Amber dropped a like for us tonight. So,
and we hit another milestone today.
Yep, 400.
We got our 400th follower on Facebook, which is great. We are continuing to grow, and that's all thanks to you. Thanks to everybody here tonight and all of our support. We certainly appreciate from you guys. We're constantly working to make the show the best that it can be. We always appreciate your feedback. If there's something that we're not talking about that you want to know about, let us know so we can, try and incorporate it into what we do. Just it's all about you guys. I mean, we are here not just to talk to ourselves. We're here to interact with you guys, to share our love of sports and our opinions and outrageous facts and figures sometimes.
Yeah,
No matter what it is, it's just about having fun and enjoying having you guys have fun with us. So that's what it all comes down to.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, and we try to make a show for everybody's liking. So if you don't like sports, we have 4 other shows during the week that you can always just come in, pop in, check out as well. Some of them are a little bit crazier than others, but we always have fun. Like tomorrow night, I know we have Miss Morgan and Miss Shannon for entertainment night. I know exactly what they're doing, and if they get enough participation tomorrow night, it's going to be quite the riot. They're doing sexual Mad Libs.
Oh boy.
That's, so I'll be tuning in for that one since I'm not part of the show anymore. I shall
Yeah.
still come in and show my support.
I'll have to dial in for that one too. That's always a fun time.
And then Wednesday night you have Mr. Ron's new trivia night.
Yep,
Uh,
TNT. We are probably right now. It's probably going to be either TV trivia or movie trivia of some kind. I haven't nailed it down exactly. I'll post it up as soon as we have a firm topic for Wednesday.
Sounds like a plan. Thursday night is now the darkest night on the show. We welcome Rev Grimm in for his own Rev Grimm show. Can't tell you what's going to happen. Expect the unexpected. It's going to get nuts. It's going to get crazy. But
Yeah,
if I know Alan, he's going to put on a hell of a show.
absolutely. So
And then
everybody can gather around the campfire and enjoy it.
and John sits back behind camera like this, and what the hell did I sign up for? And then Friday night is our longest running show on the Basement Show, and that is Friday Night Movie Night, where we talk about movies, series, soundtracks. Last week we tried to do create a scene game, which I thought was fun. I thought it was different.
Yeah.
I mean, then we dived into superheroes that are not related to Marvel or DC. That was also a very fun conversation. We had some excellent chat participation that night from Berg. Can't thank
Yes.
him enough for that.
Yeah, he was great.
So yeah, I mean, there's ways to interact with the show. Rather, if you like sports, to laugh, to talk about movies, there's something for everybody. And like Ron said, if there's a topic we're not talking about that you would like us to mention on any of our shows, feel free. I mean, we're very open-minded people. We're constantly looking to get more people involved because my goal still sits at 450 by New Year's. No, not New Year's. By August 1st, to do a giveaway for a $50 Amazon gift card. So if you have a Facebook and you haven't followed the page yet, go over, jump on, drop us a follow. That automatically gets you entered into the contest.
Yes.
So
Spread the word. We need those follows. It's a big part of what we do. It's how we kind of measure our. It's kind of like our report card. The more people we can spread the word to, the more they can realize that it's not just sports, it's not just movies. It's a little bit of something for everybody, like John said.
absolutely. I mean, and like I said, the more people interact with us, come back, hey, or spread the word, say, hey, go check these guys out. They're on point about a lot of different stuff. I mean, it makes us feel good and it helps us get better. Because we know we're not perfect. We're trying to be, but we know we'll never be perfect. But that doesn't deter us from trying to put on a great show for everyone to tune in and watch week after week.
Yep. Well said.
So I mean, I just again can't thank everybody enough. The numbers that we have already hit are just absolutely mind blowing. I mean,
And the 1 year anniversary is coming up.
August 15th, which I gotta let the ladies know because that falls on entertainment night. And it's my first day back from vacation after 11 days off. Go figure. Maybe I'll talk to my boss and throw one more day in there. One more day will never hurt, right?
Right.
I mean, I only have 11 days off. But no, it's just continued support. The new support, the old support is always and appreciated. I know I've been reached out to about hopping on a couple different podcasts to help like spread my message on their show. Maybe that'll help gain some audiences as well. I know Jimmy Duke's Gaming has a podcast now. He wants me to do one on. You always see me popping in different shows, supporting people who support us. So that's another way to spread the word is by doing that. So now I just sound like a broken record.
Yeah, but that's okay though, because the bottom line of the whole thing is we could sit here and talk about it all night long, but we're not here if you're not. You guys make the show. You guys are the reason that we're here.
Yeah. I mean, it makes it more fun. I mean, having people chit chat with us, keep us in line, or to partake in the fun. And,
well, I don't know about keeping us in line. I don't know about all that, but
well, it's safe to say you've lost that job.
Yeah.
Because at one point you would have voiced a reason, but now if you ask Morgan, I think you lost that job.
I did.
I mean, but
it's Alan's fault. It's not mine.
Don't say that too loud. You never know when he might pop in here.
The Rev has let me see the light.
Is that what it is? If I see him tomorrow, I'll make sure I mention that to him. Yep. Ron said, Alan, you made him see the light. He thinks a whole new way now.
Yeah.
It's just wait. If you want to have him baptize you. So.
Yep. I'm seeing the world through graham cracker colored glasses.
God. Are you wait till I tell my kids that they're all in Marvel? I hope I said that right. Yeah, I mean, not my cousins now, Uncle Rodney. I mean, the more people that we have pop in here talking about different things is always good. I mean, I have 3 cousins. I don't know how. I'd love to have them pop in for a show. I mean, just to sit back and be asked. My cousin Dustin's big into sports. My cousin Max likes movies and stuff. Katie has her own thing. I mean, everybody has something, and that's what we try to give here. There's something for everybody. There's a show.
We should do Marvel Night Friday.
Okay. I can do my research in enough time, sure. I mean, the last movie I sat down and watched was Black Panther, so I'm a little bit behind, but
yeah.
I can do Marvel Friday. There you go. Marvel Night Friday night on the movie. Friday night movie night will be all about Marvel.
We did superheroes and we excluded them, so I figured that would be we could do Marvel and DC, the 2 that we didn't cover.
That is very true.
So that we can sneak Batman in there.
I'm
Batman.
So if that's the case, I'll let somebody know, and I'm sure they will join us as well. I know just the person I'll text them all about that. So
can we include Lego Batman?
You gotta ask Andrew, because the one night she said yes, the other night she said no.
There's no seatbelts in the Batmobile. Ooh, oh my God! I'm going to put seatbelts in the Batmobile. Robin hits the windshield.
We're starting to get kooky.
But, yeah. Probably time to wrap it up.
Yeah, but make sure everyone tunes in tomorrow night, like I said, for entertainment night with 2 beautiful women, Morgan and Shannon. They have a fun show planned, and it's going to get crazy. With those 2, expect the unexpected. Absolutely. I'm saying with Thursday nights now, expect the unexpected. That's a good way to put the rest of the week. Expect the unexpected. Other than that, hope everyone has a good day tomorrow. And The
Yep.
show will be live again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. for entertainment night.
Have a good night, everybody.